Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We love talking about movies and more. I'm your host, Mason Phillips, and this is the second part of the last episode of the Assembly Cut that came out last week. That episode ran a little long, so we cut it up into two parts. So this is episode 3 of the Assembly Cut with myself and Hayden Smalley. In this episode, we're talking about the DC Universe, where we think it should go, kind of what we think the state of the DC Universe is. Hope you join us for this conversation. Before we get any further, I want to ask you guys to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live to this channel. You guys do that, it always helps us out, and we greatly appreciate it. Now, please enjoy this next episode of the Assembly Cut with myself and Hayden Smalley.
So this might be a controversial take. Might not be, I don't know. But DCEU had a slow, painful death.
Mm-hmm. It kind of whimpered out. And
yeah.
I still haven't seen Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
It's all right.
But the way it ends with them kind of trying to parody Iron Man's reveal of him being Tony Stark, they kind of did that with Aquaman. The one thing I know about that movie. So it's like, what?
Yeah, it's...
yeah.
That one whimpered out.
Goes out
slow,
the wet
painful
part.
death.
Yeah.
Then you have, which I mean, some of the casting in the DCU or the DCEU was amazing.
Of course.
Henry Cavill was
Still think he was great as Superman.
phenomenal.
I think Ben Affleck was a great.
He was a great Batman and Bruce Wayne.
The only issue with that Batman is the interpretation is kind of what they went like. He doesn't really observe the no-kill rule, and I think that's a pivotal part of Batman's character. Yeah. So thankfully, I think Robert Pattinson's Batman does kind of observe that.
Yeah. And then you had Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman,
which surprised me because I wasn't expecting much. Even after BVS, it was kind of like she was fine, but let's wait until her own movie.
Yeah.
Then you got Wonder Woman, and I thought,
and then they did Wonder Woman 84, and I hated it.
I mean, I did too. It's got so many plot holes for one.
Mischaracterization of her. I mean, she also basically rapes.
Essentially does that, and so yeah, it's like I don't know what you were thinking with a wishing stone. You couldn't just bring him back and not have to inhabit somebody else's body. How is that? Why is this what you chose to do? There's no reason to, and it doesn't. And you could do that, and the movie would still be bad because you then essentially don't affect anything else.
They just wanted to bring Chris Pine back.
Yeah, but you could have done that with the wishing stone. There's no reason to do that.
But yeah, there's no reason to. It's just. But anyways, so the DCEU, it's dead.
Exactly.
And sorry, DCEU fans, Snyderverse fans, it's not coming back.
Yeah, I mean,
especially unless Paramount decides to bring it back, which I doubt.
So I'm kind of two minds of that. For one, I'm so curious about Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 that I want to see some version of that. I don't think we'll ever see a version of that.
I think if Paramount brings anything back, it should be that.
At least those two films. Do those, and maybe I don't even think you could do another Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. I mean, I'm more curious for the Justice League things. Yeah, and I maybe do like an animated version of it. Like get the DC animated universe movies on those. Have them do as a 2-parter, and then we can call it good with all that. And I think that's really the only thing that, as far as the true diehard Zack Snyder fans for the Snyderverse,
that's all they want.
They really just want to see that story finish out, and then go on to the next thing. And honestly, it's probably what they should have done before they relaunched the DC was let the DCEU have a true final conclusion. And you're telling me that wouldn't do well at the box office? I think it would have.
I'm like, what? Warner Bros. Just doesn't want money?
And why were they in such a rush to jump to the next thing? But that aside, I also think it's a terrible idea to reboot again. Well, because you need to build and have some faith in the universe you've established.
So to kind of to that aspect, why they didn't just do that? I think it's because they knew they were going to try and sell Warner Bros.
Part of it was,
that was. They wanted to try and, for as little money as they absolutely had to spend on DC, make as much money as they could before they sell.
Right.
The Zack Snyder Justice League 2 and 3 would have taken way too long to make.
Especially with because this is a knock against Snyder, he makes his movies way too long. Yeah. He can easily cut some stuff down. Now, I think like with BVS, the Ultimate Edition is better than the theatrical cut.
100%.
But even if you cut it down a little bit, there are some story things that need to be tweaked. I still don't think the Martha thing really works out too well in BVS. It is still kind of ridiculous because what they kind of established with that Batman was he was going down a dark path, and Alfred kept trying to remind him, so you could have it in that moment of he sees himself turning into Joe Chill, the killer of his parents. Like, I'm going to take the life of somebody else away from their parent at this point. Yeah. Or I'm taking the life of somebody away from their child. Like, in that moment, he would have that realization and maybe hear some words from Alfred again of, you're turning cruel. and then have this horrifying realization that he's become the thing he's been trying to destroy.
Yeah.
That, I think, would have been now you fix that, I think you have a lot of forgiveness for BVS.
I think, so kind of going with the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, I do think it would kind of be a bad idea to completely reboot, because they're getting ready to be 3 movies in. And they have an animated series.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, too, is everybody's kind of calling for the head of James Gunn. You're 2 movies in. 1 was pretty good. I'm a fan of Superman from last year. It has issues, but I think overall it worked out pretty well, at least with David Cornsweet as Superman. I think he's amazing in the role. And I actually still kind of like Millie Alcock as Supergirl. She was not the issue with Supergirl for me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everybody's like, oh no, we need to restart, fire everybody, get completely clean slate. I'm like, you're 2 movies in. Let's see where the rest of this, now after Man of Tomorrow comes out next year, maybe after the next couple projects after that. So by 2028.
We got Clayface later this year.
Clayface, we have Lanterns coming out next month. So if we're still in this kind of, I don't know where the DCU is going after Man of Tomorrow, then I'm going to be in the same camp of, I think we need to look at some either leadership changes or scrapping this and starting over.
Well, so what I anticipate may happen with the Paramount Warner merger, and I think James Gunn is kind of preparing for this, is they're going to completely reboot.
Yeah.
Completely reboot. And I don't think if they do it and have a plan,
they need a plan.
I think it could really work. James Gunn's philosophy of, we're not going to have a plan, we're just going to make good movies and see what sticks.
If that's the only plan, that's terrible.
Well, and that's what he basically came out and said before Superman even came out. And I was like, that's a horrible plan.
Well, and he's also kind of a hypocrite in what he said too, because he said we won't do a movie unless the script is 100% and is ready to go, and we have full faith in this project. And then you get Supergirl, and then you ask yourself, so what was all that you said?
Well, they said that they weren't going to redo, they were going to let directors be in control, and there was a James Gunn edit of that movie.
Exactly, and they were competing edits. Apparently, the James Gunn edit won, and everything that they reworked some of that script too. He came in and did some stuff. I guess all the Superman stuff was actually written by Gunn, which is some of the strongest stuff in the movie. Actually, unfortunately, it did work out that way. But then they also got somebody who, the writer Ana Nogueira. This is the first big film she's ever written. And I hope people don't hear me saying that a woman can't write. It absolutely can.
No, but if it was a man's first time writing a movie, it would have been awful too. Gender doesn't matter.
She's inexperienced, is what I'm saying. Yeah. She needs to start on an independent project, build her repertoire a little bit, and then go to something like this. But you're starting her with this. I don't really blame her for what she did. Yeah. I don't think she needs to stay on, because I think she's writing the Wonder Woman movie, from what I've heard, and a Teen Titans project. So you're using somebody inexperienced to work on these huge, high-profile projects and on a universe that needs to build back the faith from the fan base. You don't have faith from the fan base right now because of the mishandling of the DCEU. And the DCEU was largely mishandled because they didn't stick with a plan, or they didn't have a plan for many of it.
Yeah.
And they kept changing direction. So the audience just kind of got burnt out. I think primarily because they're like, I don't know what you're doing from one thing to the next. Should I get invested in this thing? Because you're probably going to do one, and the Man of Steel example, one Superman movie and then never got a sequel. Yeah. For a movie that actually succeeded pretty well at the box office, it didn't lose any money.
Yeah.
And for the most part, everybody was on board with Henry Cavill as Superman.
Oh yeah, I thought he was a great Superman.
But what was the reason? I mean, and then there was a lot of stuff going on in Ben Affleck's personal life, so that's why the Batman kind of got derailed, his version of it anyway.
Well, and he was going to direct it.
He was going to direct it at one point, and then he backed out and he's going to star in it, and then we eventually got the Matt Reeves version, which I like. I love the Batman.
I think the Batman is really good. I think it's too long.
It is a little too long. I will agree on that.
I think that it could have been split into 2 films. It was kind of taking the concept of the Overton window to a little lengthier dimension than it needed to.
Sure, yeah.
Because by the end of it, you're having Gotham flood and explosions and but it works and you believe in it, but the movie should have ended 30 minutes ago. Yeah, it should have. They definitely could have cut back on some stuff there. But, I honestly have more faith in the Batman universe than I do anything else, because The Penguin was an amazing show. Did you get it? I still need to see it. It's a great crime drama. It's amazing. So that kind of goes into my pitch for what Paramount Warner should do. Is they should unfortunately reboot the whole thing.
Right.
I think. But they start with the Batman.
So that was the beginning of...
And say that is the beginning of our audience's,
connection to that universe.
Sure. Because you can't have that exist in the same as David Cornsweet's Superman. Just the way that those universes are portrayed is so different.
And this was the thing with the Superman movie. I really like what it did for the character of Superman, because that's what I was hoping that Henry Cavill's version would get to, was that all-star Superman, the very hopeful version.
And I love that.
I love that aspect of the character. Few changes. I still don't necessarily agree with James Gunn's change to make Jor-El send him there to conquer Earth.
And they doubled down on it. Even after the backlash, they doubled down on it. Supergirl.
Be like, oh, we can easily change this. Just say, oh, no, that was just a fake recording. Oh, no, that his brother knows that he was sending him there to do that. So there's that. I do think that this Superman movie gets a little too fantastical out the gate. Like the first movie, there's
got too many heroes.
That didn't bother me too much, but it's just the craziness of Lex Luthor just suddenly has this pocket universe. Okay, that's a normal thing, I guess. And then there's all this insane stuff. But I say that sounding like I hated the movie. I actually really like Superman, and I think it did build a pretty solid foundation for where the DCU could go from there.
Yeah, and if they were going to stick with that. Mm-hmm. Sure. And, Supergirl is not so egregiously bad that it derailed that.
I think the problem with that one is it was a huge failure at the box office. Nobody went to go see it.
75% drop in its second weekend.
Exactly. I think the second or third biggest drop for a superhero movie, which is crazy. And you hate to see it because you're like, okay, the DCEU kind of went out on a whimper. We have a lot of faith in DC. So far, the projects, for the most part, have been pretty successful.
Well, this universe had so much goodwill towards it.
It did. Like, Creature Commandos was received pretty well. Peacemaker Season 2 came out, and I still haven't seen Season 2. But it was received pretty well for the most part. I think it had... Yeah. I don't think the finale was received as well, but I think the show overall was pretty good as far as the fans are saying. And then the first Superman movie out the gate, okay, we're great.
Yeah.
It made its money back. It was successful by the critics, the fans, the box office for the most part.
Yeah.
We're good on that front. And then you go into Supergirl. And at first, that made sense to go into Supergirl after Superman. Okay, let's build this corner of the universe. You've already had her in a cameo in Superman, so why not go to her next?
Yeah.
But from what I know about the source material, it's almost like they ignored what was good about the comic book it's based on. And I think it was also a mistake to do that comic book first.
Yeah.
Because you're starting with a Supergirl that you don't really know too well.
Yeah. So you're starting with a broken...
And you're like...
drunk out character.
Yeah, so why... I think that character works better if you've seen them in a higher place in their life. Then they went down, and then they have to build them... Like, you have to see how this character...
Because her whole... And spoilers for Supergirl, if anyone cares, but...
I think anybody wants to see it,
though. You have her, telling this girl that's tagging along with her for the adventure, trying to get revenge for the death of her family, and she keeps pushing for her not to, saying, you'll regret it. Well, where's that story? I want to see that Supergirl story.
I never saw that, and that should have been the first movie.
And then at the end, after this girl has walked away, she turns around and kills
She still does it, yeah.
I'm like, you've made yourself a hypocrite. Like, I totally understand needing to annihilate a character that's just going to go and do endlessly more harm, and there is no that character is not going to be redeemed.
He is villain 100%. He does not care what he does. And I was actually on board with the Supergirl movie up until she starts blurting that up. You can't kill him. And then I was like, whoa, this is like a huge whiplash. Where did this come from? There was no setup for this.
Yeah.
And now you're just doing it. And I'm like, that's like writing 101, like and I said this in my review that I did. That's amateurish.
Yeah.
I'm not a writer, and I know not to do that.
Yeah.
So it's...
My pitch for Paramount is to either go ahead and establish a new DCU with the Batman as kind of a starting point. My only hesitancy is the Batman kind of closes off some general audience because of its length.
I think it was part of that. It is, and I don't knock the Batman for going dark, because Batman is a darker character.
No, that's fine. I'm wanting them to keep that.
And he should stay, because that's kind of been my fear at a hearing that even James Gunn is saying he might, or the reports are saying that James Gunn is considering directing the Brave and the Bold movie. I'm like, just understand Batman, because I have a weird feeling that he has this particular view on DC Comics, and I think, and honestly, it's kind of what we would all do. I think it's a specific era that he grew up with.
Yeah.
So he wants everything DC to be exactly what he read in the comics when he was growing up.
Yeah.
And what you need to do is look at what has been successful and what's been the pivotal building blocks for these characters across time.
Yeah.
So what I was kind of hoping in the early DC universe, before we kind of knew where things were going, was let's start do a Justice Society movie early on. Maybe our main Flash, to kind of change things up, is Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
He could be the main Flash for a while. Or and then kind of recently I've been like, since James Gunn isn't afraid to pull from stuff that was DCEU, primarily stuff he worked on, but still characters that were there. Let's do that across the DC.
Let's have Gal Gadot be Wonder Woman still. And
you could do that. My suggestion was, at least for the Flash, I'm bringing Grant Gustin over, and you don't have to have Barry Allen be your main Flash for the whole series. You could do one movie where he gets like lost in time or whatever, do like kind of a Flash, kind of what happened to him in Crisis on Infinite Earth, and then make Wally West your established Flash, go forward from there.
Yeah.
So just kind of tie back to the stuff that's throughout DC, and don't just get so laser focused on this is the only thing. Because I like it, everybody else has to.
Kind of the vibe I got from James Gunn's Superman was Super Friends.
It's kind of similar.
It's kind of a little bit more grown-up Super Friends. Yeah. And I think that what a lot of DC fans are hoping for is kind of a balance.
I was hoping for something more like Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, like the cartoons from the early...
Well, that's where I was going, is they should do something. And that started with Batman the Animated Series.
It is, yeah.
And I think whether they make it the Batman's continuity or do a different Batman movie, I think, Batman is your Iron Man. Yeah. Start out with
your
grounded origin story, whatever, and I would even kind of take some notes out of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Sure.
Where maybe he starts this whole thing now that he's a young man in his, early 20s.
Yeah.
He's billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He's trained and he's gotten the tools to go pursue his parents' killer.
Sure. And a very simple movie too.
Very simple.
Like take that first part of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie and make that like the overarching story for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing in this more fantastical thing, you could do so. You kind of actually make it like a Batman Year One kind of thing. If you get that story, it's a lot more about like the mob.
Yeah.
They're essentially the main threat. So kind of what the Batman did, but to a maybe even more scaled down.
See what I would do in Smallville, the TV series, they started to do a really good version of this. But what I would do for like a DC Phase 1, okay, I would start that out where, you're not getting like a big Justice League movie at the end or whatever, but the first several movies is like you've got a couple Batman movies that really establish, like the first one is just like him coming into his own. He spends some time tracking down this killer.
Yeah.
Whatever, and then you have that movie's version of the Green Goblin, which could be, pairing it with, Spider-Man, because you don't want to do the whole plot necessarily on that one, but that's how he gets started, and then because of that, he realizes that person's connected to Joker or whoever.
You do like use Black Mask for an example.
Yeah.
A Batman villain that has no powers, but is a little bit more like, so like the mask kind of burns to his face in some continuity.
Yeah.
So have that as a more fantastical thing, but it's not supernatural and it's not like this metahuman threat. It's still a crime drama at the end of the day. So you do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you could do a Superman movie, but it's him still in Smallville. So he's not made the big news yet. So it would make sense why Batman hasn't heard of him. And maybe he's, handling some of it. Maybe he has to go off world to do something like whatever. But you take some time to let these characters grow up a little bit. Start them in their early 20s. Like Wonder Woman in Themyscira as a young 20-something-year-old-ish.
And put them on an adventure on their home turf, maybe.
On their home turf.
And do this other, so.
And then like the Batman, or, just DCU Batman 2. Like Iron Man 2, Batman 2.
Yeah.
You start to tie in some things similar to what Phase 1 of the MCU did. You start to kind of tie things together a little bit.
You hear reports of these other characters. There's this person with superhuman abilities out in Kansas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So a red blue blur,
Smallville thing. And I'm actually just watching Smallville for the first time.
Oh, nice.
I started last year.
Wait till you get to their Justice League, not Justice League.
Okay. I'm actually in season 9 right now. So
okay, so you're about done.
I got that and then one more season. So Clark's already kind of, he's proto Superman. He's not Superman, but he's trying to be Superman without, like, he's got the black suit and like a trench coat and a Superman t-shirt on. But
that's great.
Yeah, so he's dropped like the red blues, just the blur now. So there's all that's going on. What they did on Smallville is actually kind of interesting because you always see like Smallville, Kansas, and then Metropolis. I think in the DCU, it's in New Jersey, and usually historically, it's like somewhere on the coast. It's supposed to be like a replacement for New York City, basically. Yeah. But in Smallville, they made it in the same state. Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes I think honestly more sense. It's like, why haven't more people done this? Because why would Clark suddenly decide I'm going to travel across the country, go to a place I'm not even familiar with at all, and like Metropolis, he's had so much experience with in Smallville, and then so it just makes complete sense to then go over there. Yeah. Like, that's where the Daily Planet is. That's where the Luthors are. Like, why would the Luthors be in Smallville of all places? I mean, and then, so Smallville did a little bit of a retcon as you get into it of like, oh no, like Lionel actually knew that you were coming. Like, he already kind of knew about Clark's alien heritage. Yeah. Pre, like, the beginning of the show. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's something I'm kind of like, well, that's kind of a stretch and a weird way to go about it, but okay. Yeah. But that aside, that actually kind of makes more sense for those cities to be. I never liked in the DCEU that Metropolis and Gotham were like next neighbors. Yeah, so it's like, never made any. That happens in Gotham. Why isn't Superman just swooping in and doing like anything about the Joker or whatever?
Well, and that's kind of the whole thing. Is like, regardless, I mean, Superman can fly out of the stratosphere and hear anything and just swoop in and save the day. So why do they need more than one superhero? And I mean, and that's also the complaint that you'll hear people say about the MCU is like, Iron Man 3, where are the rest of the Avengers when the president was when he was under attack? And then Hydra was revealed in Winter Soldier. Where were all these characters? Yeah, you just kind of have to rationalize that these events are probably happening at about the same time. And also it's like, oh, this thing happened like within like 2 hours, and you expect all these heroes to just either both know about that and then show up within that amount of time. Yeah, I mean, Captain America can't fly unless he's like in the Quinjet or something. And so you do have to stretch a little bit, but that's the comics. Yeah. Like, not every Batman comic's going to have Superman in it. But that was a weird tangent I went on. But no, yeah, you're fine. Establishing. Yeah, so establishing, I would do like 2 Batman movies, 2 Superman movies. Yeah. And then maybe a Wonder Woman and the Aquaman movie or movies separate, and then do a Justice. Yeah, you could do that. I wouldn't even necessarily call it, I mean, I guess you could call it the Justice League. Or you could do like Marvel did for Marvel's The Avengers. You could do DC's The Justice League. Yeah, DC's to kind of differentiate it from the Joss Whedon one. Mm-hmm. But you really want to have your 3 core pillars. Yeah. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Exactly. Aquaman can come in as an ancillary character. Mm-hmm. Like Black Widow, for instance. I would introduce him in Wonder Woman. Okay. To me, that makes the most sense for suspension of disbelief. So have the Atlanteans and the Themyscirans have a huge amount of history. So it makes complete sense. And then, I mean, say if you wanted to bring in one of the Green Lanterns, you can introduce a tie to Green Lantern or a tease for Green Lantern in Superman. I mean, you could even do 2 Batman movies, 1 Superman movie that teases Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. You do Green Lantern. Yeah. A Wonder Woman movie that teases Atlantis. You do Aquaman, and then you do the Justice League. Right. You don't even have. I mean, you could have a Flash movie in there. Flash movie. The thing is, there's so many core members that you're going to take forever if you do a movie for each one. I think that's why you select you do at least the 3 pillars. Marvel had 6 movies in Phase 1. Yeah, 2 of them were Iron Man movies, and then there was an Avengers movie. Yeah, but your core characters, your Iron Man had 2, Hulk at least had 1 movie before. Yeah, and then Cap and Thor had. They have movies too. And that's the thing is, some of these characters in Phase 1, and that's the thing, so long as Phase 1's good, nobody's going to care how long it takes to get to the Justice League. I think you have a good 5 to 6 years. Yeah. I think that's how long your phase should be. I think for Marvel, I believe Phase 1 was 4 years long. Yeah.
like 2008 to 2012.
You had like 2 movies coming out a year.
2009 was that weird exception. There wasn't anything MCU that came out that year.
Yeah, but you had 2008 and then 2010, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
But I think that's because they were taking their time
Yeah.
to write things.
They were, because, I mean, early on, and I said this in a previous video, was that Kevin Feige, what was good about Iron Man was they treated it as its own thing.
Yeah.
We're not trying to set up a universe, and I think with Superman, they're kind of banking on we're setting up a DC universe. Iron Man, they're not really worried about that. But in case this thing works, here's a post-credit scene for the Avengers being set up. And if we can do that, wonderful. If we can't, at least we made a good Iron Man movie.
I think, with the DC deal, I think if you were to do a Flash movie and tease it, I think you would tease it at the end of the first Batman movie. You could
easily do that, yeah. There's like some kind of, or just say some offhand of, have you heard reports of this thing that happened in Central City with the particle accelerator or whatever?
And honestly, I mean, that could even be, because Batman's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. You could have him looking into this, streak or whatever they call it. Maybe after the Flashes had his movie, maybe in Batman 2, there's a moment of team up where Batman's kind of investigating this, and
where Batman becomes the Fury character, shows up, and
that's my deal. Is I think Batman should be, after he's had at least one movie, I think he should become the Nick Fury character, because in certain runs of the comics or cartoons, he is the person that assembles the team, and he assembles it because what if he turned bad?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
what his plan.
His antidote. That's his kryptonite. It's the Justice League.
Superman asks him in Justice League Doom, the animated movie, is like, so say if anything happens to us, or say anything happens to you, what's your plan? I have a plan. It's called the Justice League. So
so
it makes sense, and of course he would keep tabs on all of these superhuman things, but people coming out of the woodwork. So that could be a post-credit scene. The end of Batman is to look into this Flash.
Yeah, it's just something that popped up, and he knows it, and he starts taking notes. And then at the end, because you could do a Batman 2, and I would, so that you kind of establish some of the more fantastical things that he does. Like, you could do a version of Bane that's all juiced up.
So you could do that, or you could do a Batman movie, a Superman movie, and then a team up with Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of my thing for if I was to go back and
you could do a World's Finest movie.
Yeah, if I was going to go back and restructure the DCEU, what I would have done was I would have done a Batman movie, Superman, and then Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe not in that order, but at least those 3 first. Then you do a World's Finest that's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman comes in as a mix. Don't start introducing these other Justice League characters yet, but establish their connection to each other.
And that they're at least aware of each other,
Kill Superman in the second movie, because that needs to be saved for phase 7 or 8 or whatever.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But
well, the kind of the whole thing is DC, they need to look at their bottom of the bucket obscure characters. And say, hey, how can we rebrand these and potentially make them way popular?
And it's happened before with Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
James Gunn did it again with Peacemaker and these other characters. So they're household names that nobody used to. I didn't know who Peacemaker was. I didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before that movie came out. Yeah.
You don't start as doing those. What you do is you start with the ones that everybody knows and cares about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you do like you did with Guardians of the Galaxy. You introduce one team or a few characters of obscure origins, and maybe you can tweak them and stuff, make them a little more palatable. Because I mean, if they're not household names now, the comics didn't turn out as good as they could have.
No.
Take it as an opportunity to do a little bit of rebrand on them, polish them up.
That'll also reinfuse some excitement into the comics.
Yeah.
Not to the degree that movies are. I think there's many comic book fans that think the comics are the be all end all. Just do this, and now I love that the comics exist because that means that the characters reading these movies exist.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the history and the backstory that's been created. Sometimes the movies do need to change some stuff, because this other thing didn't necessarily work. One example I go to is Mr. Freeze in Batman the Animated Series. He did not have a great origin before the animated series, but now everything points back to him trying to save his dying wife and putting her in cryo-freeze, him getting this accident that made him Mr. Freeze. That's just one example of it. Something that happened in a TV show or movie that made the comic better.
Well, that's one of the reasons I think DC has had way more success with animated projects than Marvel has. Is DC benefits really well, and this is kind of one of the hard things about doing a DCU. It benefits really well from doing serialized storytelling. Because these are such broad, such out there characters. You have to have some time to spend with them to have that Overton window effect work on the audience. That's one of the reasons I feel that, James Gunn's Superman did not connect well with the majority of general audiences. Is it just drops you into this universe that's already totally bonkers.
Yeah, and I did like that to an extent. At first, I liked the idea.
I appreciate the risk.
Yeah, I like the idea of there being an existing DC universe of, and you look at the mural that's in the Hall of Justice, there's this whole history of characters that just go back to the World War II and before that. And so there's this huge, rich history. And for me, the thing was just some characterizations they did in Superman. The reason for it, and I kind of get what James Gunn was going to. Initially, Superman was going to be called Superman Legacy. So do you live up to the legacy of your parents? Like one side of your family to another. And so I understand what he was going for.
Yeah.
There are versions of Jor-El in the comics that did do that. That's not usually how he's portrayed, though.
Yeah. Usually he's portrayed a
lot better. Of it, kind of going into the movies, Jor-El's whole reason for sending Superman, a lot of that currently in our modern pop culture is informed by what they did in the Richard Donner Superman movie. Jor-El sending him to be the protector of this planet.
Yeah.
And he does become the protector of this planet, but in spite of what his parents wanted him to do. It is what his Earth parents wanted for him.
Yeah.
So
the people that raised him and cared for him.
And so I love that aspect of it, but I also I love and hate it at the same time. I still don't think I'm completely on board with what he did.
Yeah, no, it's
frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
And we're again dogging on DC so much, but I still am let's see how Lanterns does. It's not exactly what I would do because I wanted Hal Jordan to be the prime or that. I'm glad they're introducing Jon Stewart too. I've been wanting Jon Stewart for so long because I grew up he was my Green Lantern.
Yeah.
The cartoon is Jon Stewart's my Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
And so I was actually, when I was a kid going through Walmart and I saw the posters for the Ryan Reynolds movie.
So that was my introduction to Green Lantern. So I enjoyed that movie. Having no other context for Green Lantern as a child.
And I don't hate that movie as much as most people do, actually. Kind of like what they did there. Not the whole thing, but some of it. But anyway, I saw that and I was like, wait, Green Lantern's a white guy now? It's I thought
there's so many Green Lanterns.
But then I learned later, it's there's Hal, there's John, there's Kyle, Guy Gardner, there's all these other Green Lanterns. While Lanterns may not be exactly what I would have done, I also am well, let's see what they have here.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the premise for it being this True Detective style show. So let's see what that's going to be. It's also partially going to be set in 2016. Part of the show is going to be set in the modern day. So see where it goes. Clayface is another one where I'm intrigued. But why are we doing a Clayface movie before we're even getting Batman?
Yeah, and the trailers have not sold me on it. I'm okay. It looks like just another body horror movie like the last several that we've gotten out of Hollywood, like The Substance or... I don't know, it just doesn't interest me. And Clayface, to me, is an interesting character. I mean, he's DC's Sandman. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And, I mean, he's Silly Putty the Man,
Yeah. But another thing with this is this another issue? Because we saw the Sony movies... The villains without the hero.
Yeah.
Now, it worked once with Joker. Well, it worked twice. I guess it worked with Joker and it worked with Venom. But that doesn't work with every character. Now, with Clayface, I'm willing to maybe see how this goes because Clayface, at least initially when he starts, is not an outright villain.
Yeah.
He becomes a villain because of his circumstances.
I am interested in Clayface purely for the fact of it's such an obscure movie to have as your third movie in the DCU.
Yeah.
Why? Is the script just that good?
That's what they're saying, but that's what they said about Supergirl too. So I'm like, you said it about Supergirl. Supergirl was it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It is okay. We don't need another mediocre, and that's I think the thing right now is there's so many mediocre superhero movies coming out that they're just are you even trying? You're putting all this money into this project, so why is it the quality it is? Did you feel like you had to rush this thing out? What is making these movies the quality that they are? And then also these really weird decisions of doing almost completely obscure characters out the gate. and I said this I think we should probably wrap up here because we hit the hour mark. So we're going to go ahead and probably wrap up. But my last thing I would say is you mix it up. Do a tentpole character and then do an obscure character. And maybe save those obscure characters for a TV show.
Yeah.
But then some of the TV shows they're deciding to do, one they're working on now is actually a Jimmy Olsen show.
Yeah, with Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd, for one, is a Flash villain, so why are we... all these weird things that they're deciding to do. I know this is James Gunn, and I'm like, at first I was all about him becoming the CEO.
Go back to doing live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Yeah. Those were gems. At least the second one.
I love those movies. But, yeah, he does seem like he's more interested in writing and directing anyway.
Yeah.
So I at first I was like, I don't know if it's good to change the leadership right now. Maybe stick with the universe you've made to an extent.
Yeah.
But start reworking it very quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to do when James Gunn came on with the DCEU.
That's what they wanted.
They announced Henry Cavill's back. Okay, so after Black Adam, now we're going to go forward.
Because I actually wanted to see that Black Adam Superman movie. I know most people probably didn't. I'm one of those people I like.
I would have been willing.
Closure.
Yeah.
You know, and
so do I.
Maybe it's unhealthy, but I like for loose ends. I like for post credits. Like I'm still waiting for Aragon 2 because of that post credits. Like,
yeah.
And I know I'm never going to get it. I know people, especially people that read the book before they saw the movie, hated the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie as a kid, and there weren't many good fantasy movies to watch as a kid.
Sure.
Like, Lord of the Rings was a little too dark for my parents' taste. For me as a child, I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter. I didn't watch that until college. I had Narnia.
You had Narnia.
And I loved Narnia.
Yeah.
But I also grew up one of those kids where, like, I needed an Overton window, or I couldn't enjoy the movie because I'm just sitting here going, that's not possible.
Yeah, kind of tease yourself into the universe.
You know?
Or the universe is already so crazy that you just have to lean into the crazy.
Right. You know, and it helped if it was animated, if it's going to be crazy.
It does.
But my kind of final pitch for how I would do the DCU, starting completely from scratch, would be a Batman, a Superman, a Wonder Woman, and then a World's Finest.
See, like a small team up with those characters.
With those three, people might not like that Wonder Woman would be included in that because she might not have been one of the original World's Finest.
So you say, okay,
would include her.
It's Batman and Superman, and then Wonder Woman just happens to be here.
So. Yeah, it's the World's Finest. And then from there, you do...
term, too, so it's like, okay, well, it just happens to be 3 instead of 2, so...
And then from there, you could establish Flash... Green Lantern, Aquaman, who's maybe already had set up from the Wonder Woman movie. After you've done those three, then you do Justice League.
Right.
And that would be the full Phase 1, Part 1 and Part 2 of a total phase.
And maybe within that Justice League, would you introduce like maybe Martian Manhunter? Because he's...
I think you tease him. I think he's a character you tease, you know, kind of like Vision or... Wanda Maximoff, you know, character, you know, Avengers that were introduced later, you tease them or maybe have their origin be in a Justice League movie because that would be something that the whole team would kind of have to be there for.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, I would establish that, you know, maybe Batman, you know, once he's gotten a little older, he recruits a Robin.
Yeah.
You could kind of use other characters
to recruit a Robin.
Right?
That's not
really
Clooney,
right.
Yeah.
You have characters maybe take on some sidekicks.
Yeah.
Or, you know, take, you know, like I could see Wonder Woman taking Starfire under her wing.
Yeah.
For a point. To the where you say, okay, hey, you know what? The Justice League is going to front the Teen Titans some money.
Yeah.
To
and then
have Titans Hour.
Bruce Wayne has, I think he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Robin's going to go off and do his own thing. There you go.
It's like, you need some experience leading a team. Like, go and take care of some street level stuff. And really start it there, and then they start to follow maybe a thread that's a little bigger, and they try to bring it to the Justice League. Maybe the Justice League ignores it.
That, or they're on another mission.
Or they're on another mission, maybe they're off-world.
Yeah.
I would maybe go the route of the Justice League ignores it. Kind of like Spider-Man Homecoming, where, like, Tony's aware. He's just not addressing the kid with it.
Spider Kid, you can kind of...
And so, like, the Teen Titans go and tackle this, and then Robin, at the end, finds out Batman knew.
Sure.
And he was like, You don't need the Justice League.
Right.
You guys are capable.
Yeah.
I would love to see
something
like that. It's like,
yeah.
Because then by the time you get to Justice League 3, the Teen Titans are grown up a little bit. They're able to be there for that end game level even.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think my first big bad for the Justice League 2, and we can end after this. I'll finish my pitch with this.
Yeah.
Would be Brainiac.
Yeah.
Because he's a cosmic threat to some degree. He's not like necessarily a Thanos level.
No, but he's more like a...
But he's not... I feel like, Superman would need help with him, potentially. I know some comic fans might not agree, but...
Yeah, and that's kind of what they're doing, I think, with Man of Tomorrow, from what I've heard. Man of Tomorrow is basically going to be Justice League Light.
Yeah.
Kind of what Superman was, too, where you'll have this Justice Gang. But I've also heard that Jon Stewart's Martian Manhunter. That's Jon Jones. Jon Stewart's Green Lantern is supposed to be supposed to be in.
There's rumors of Wonder Woman popping up too.
Possibly going to be in it too. So I think Man of Tomorrow is kind of setting up the larger DC universe for all this. And that's why I'm kind of like, well, let's wait and see what happens with Man of Tomorrow. I still don't like that we're doing these really weird projects at the beginning of this universe. It makes absolutely no sense to me. It's not what I would do at all.
I'm expecting Clayface to show up in the Justice Gang.
Yeah. Even if the script was good, be like, okay, well, let's hold on to that and we'll make it later. Unfortunately, that it does happen in cinematic universes. This is what happened with Edgar Wright's Ant-Man. They weren't ready to make Ant-Man yet, but then by the time they got to it, the universe had changed so much that
they had to rewrite.
They had to, and I like the first Ant-Man movie. But some of that is also established off of what Edgar Wright wrote, so they were kind of off of the bones of that. But they lost him as a creator, but they still had a successful project, and they were willing to wait on that project. They didn't just jump to. I think they could have started with an Ant-Man because he is a founding member of the Avengers in the comics.
But it would have been a Hank Pym Ant-Man if they had done that. Which you could have still done, and just say he got stuck in the quantum realm, and now he's found his way out.
But they have a chance to do that again because I don't think Paul Rudd's going to be around as Ant-Man for too much longer after.
Yeah, I heard rumors that he might die in Doomsday.
I think they're kind of done with his character. The Quantumania didn't help his case.
Well, and he was a lower earning character to begin with. See, that's a character that like.
In the comics, too, is like they just don't make as much.
I think that generally a superhero should have an origin story at least.
Yes,
so that they have a proper introduction to the universe. I think there are some other cases like Wanda Maximoff or Vision where their origins can be tied in other ways.
Right.
But I think a character like Ant-Man needed an origin story, and I think Ant-Man and the Wasp was good because it introduces Wasp.
Yes.
And then just let them be ancillary heroes that are part of teams.
Yeah. And for me, I also have that weird closure thing of like, well, you can't just do 2 movies. You need 3 and make it a trilogy.
Right? Oh, I know. That's what movie franchise was it? Clash of the Titans. That got the Wrath of the Titans.
And then didn't.
I wanted a third because those are such fun movies.
But
instead, someone made Gods of Egypt.
Yeah. But that's my weird closure thing of like, I also like to see things, and I guess
trilogies.
I'll try to make this like a wrap up point, and then we could probably end here. But with the DCEU. So they had so many different plans. Their final plan when they were going into the Flash movie, and the Flash movie has a whole lot of nightmare problems. I like the movie for what it is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of issues with that. They would have had to definitely recast the lead, Flash. Barry either gets lost in time, or I would have just been like, just recast.
I think they should have always picked the actor who did the Flash TV series. I think they should have brought the CW completely brought the CW into the DC.
The most successful DC universe was the Arrowverse over there.
Yeah,
but it's not perfect. It has its issues, but I mean overall,
and it finally ended with what? Legends of Tomorrow was the end of it, right?
The Flash actually was the end, and then the Superman and Lois show was kind of the final finish.
Okay,
everything. But what I was going to say for the Flash, they had initially before all the change ups at DC and Warner Brothers for them getting out, they were going to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths after the Flash, kind of building towards that to then do like a Secret Wars type reboot.
Yeah.
They were going to do that on the big screen. They were setting up Michael Keaton's Batman to stay on and be the Nick Fury type to start recruiting people. When you heard about that Batgirl movie that was supposed to come out before it got shelved.
Yeah. They did a Batgirl series.
Yeah.
Which I heard was awful.
Batwoman.
Batwoman. Yeah, that's true.
I heard it was pretty bad too. I didn't watch it. But,
no, same.
But they were going to use his Batman as a setup, and then they were going to bring it. So that was one plan. The second plan was to keep going that way, but then this was also when Henry Cavill was coming back in, so they're going to bring him in as Superman.
Yeah.
So at the end of The Flash, it was going to be Henry Cavill's Superman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was going to show up, then Michael Keaton as Batman, and I think Sasha Calles, who played Supergirl in the Flash movie. They were all going to show up at the end at the courthouse when Barry's father gets proven innocent.
That would have been cool.
So they were going to do that kind of instead of having just a George Clooney Batman show up, which I thought was hilarious, but still was like, okay, so he's just been dropped into the the Batman and Robin universe, never to be seen again.
Yeah. But, well, no, his Batman is replacing Ben Affleck.
Well, yeah, I know.
Because everything else from the Flash stayed the same.
No, I get that, but but they were going to go with that plan. Yeah. Then I think at the end of the movie, initially Ben Affleck's Batman was going to have a post-credit scene, and then he was going to be like lost in the universe. And it was going to be something like, come find me, Barry, or something like that. And then teasing Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then closing out the DCEU, and then go from there. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, now you have a plan. Let's finish this out. The DCEU is not great, so let's just go to at least finish it out, and then start something fresh and new.
Yeah. The kind of the nuts thing about it is, they've started both of these universes so messy.
Mm-hmm. They both have. I mean,
like even the DCU as it is now is such a and so far fun movies. Like they don't necessarily do anything egregious as far as entertaining, but
they're not setting anything up though.
But they're not setting anything up.
And that's the thing I've talked about before is so James Gunn has this Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
He didn't tell us what's the synopsis of Chapter 1. Or what's the synopsis of the book he's telling? What's the book? Because usually when you pick a book up, you have on the back of the book, you have the synopsis of what the book's supposed to be about. Okay, that gives me just the overall idea of what the story is. It doesn't tell me the major story beats. Doesn't tell me any of the plot twists or anything. Just tells me what am I getting myself into. We don't know anything about the DC universe. And I'm not saying we have to have that. We didn't have that with the MCU at the beginning, but we trusted that they were building. We knew they were at least building towards the Avengers.
Well, we trusted it because we saw the synopsis start to build through the films gradually.
Yeah.
And sure, they maybe announced it, but like us as kids, like we weren't on YouTube looking at like what the whole plan was and stuff. We were just taking it movie by movie.
Exactly. But I mean, they could have at least done with Superman, like they did with Iron Man, be like, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do a universe, but let's at least maybe tease something. Yeah. And we can build, but make sure it's a strong something, not just a loose, like, whatever. It's like, it's a strong something, like Iron Man teases the Avengers. If we can do that, great. And then we'll do that. And then once we have the Avengers, then we can set up the larger thing. And that's what the DCU should have done, was tease something. And then I guess the equivalent could be like reestablish Argus. Argus is basically S.H.I.E.L.D. in the DC universe.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like
I'm building the Justice League.
The first thing you tease
Batman at the end of the Superman movie. That's where you introduce Batman. He's like, hey, I'm building a team.
Yeah. I mean, and kind of going back to like my pitch for it is because like the first thing that was ever teased in the MCU was the team. Yeah. Not a threat.
Right.
But the team.
The team, yeah.
That's what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can figure out the threat later. Just figure out how you're getting your characters established to make a team. Yeah. Because if you don't have strong characters that the audience is connected with, they don't care if that world explodes. Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I mean, like, so why am I supposed to care about Clayface? Yeah, who's Clayface? I don't. Which you can say that about anybody. Like, who is this character? Who is that? But the argument that I've heard, like, oh, just wait and see, is like, I see excitement for this project. It's like, yeah, but I don't have an investment, and I know that most movies I don't need a cinematic universe to enjoy. Like, any movie can come out and go enjoy it. But the fact is, you are in a cinematic universe. So once I know that, then I need to have that through line excitement. Yeah. If I don't have that, then where is this just a rudderless universe like the DCEU became?
That's kind of my pitch, and this could be a whole other video. So I'll just
we should probably end here. We've said that a couple times. We should probably end here.
There's a camp of people that say like the Jurassic movies should have ended several years ago. Like what are they building towards? They're not really building towards anything in particular right now. Yeah, and kind of if I were put in charge of it. Yeah. My whole thing would be, focus on individual dinosaurs in certain situations. Uh-huh. And you tease things that were kind of unused concepts, that stuff from the franchise. Yeah. That from ancillary media that's never been done in the films.
Right.
you could tease that stuff.
Yeah, you could.
And get fans excited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you teased stuff from the Chaos Effect line,
yeah,
it could get fans excited. But that could be a whole nother video for next time. Well, thank you guys for joining us this time around.
So, Hayden, do you have any projects you're working on that you want to plug, or anything you got in the works?
So I've put a pause on crowdfunding Night of the Troodon because our creature effects guy dipped out.
Okay.
At a very crucial time.
Yeah.
And
kind of a tough break there. Yeah.
Yeah. Still didn't get all my money back from that. But the Lord's been good in many ways, so that money doesn't even matter.
Good.
But the project's still happening.
Okay.
I've talked to some other creature effects people. I'm gonna have to find $150,000 to make the film now.
Okay.
Because anybody else is charging me about $50,000 to do the puppet.
Gotcha.
And that's before us having a sit-down meeting and discussing the actual needs of the puppet. That's a quote, assuming we're going to need everything from it.
Right.
So we're working on those meetings. So that project's still happening. It's just a little slower than I would like, but that's probably for the project's best.
Yeah.
I just got off working on a promo for the Lowdown. That was pretty cool. Right now, if your audience wants to help me out, I'm actually selling some movies and movie posters, theatrically used posters.
All right.
On my Mercari page, which I can give you the link for.
Yeah, we're gonna link that in the
that would help me tremendously. And I'm doing kind of a thing where I'll send like 3 mystery posters or 3 mystery movies.
Okay.
Each of those bundles is only $15.
Okay, cool.
And so, if you want to shoot me a message and say, hey, I'm more into this genre or whatever, then I can kind of try and cater based on my inventory what I have. I can kind of cater it towards you there. But just I'm trying to kind of prioritize some things like getting our student loans paid off, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So trying to dig myself out of that hole.
We're doing the same thing in our household with getting some debts paid off.
And then other than that, I'm looking for my next set. That's why it's taken us so long to do this. I was on 2 different projects.
I understood. So no worries there.
But yeah, that right now that's and which on Mercari it's under Paradise Video.
Yeah.
But what about you? Got anything going on?
Right now, mainly just plugging into this channel. Like I said, when we can't do this podcast, I've every Wednesday have Talking Movies and More with me.
Nice.
So I hope you've all enjoyed that. It's YouTube's got a weird thing with analytics and how it pushes videos. I don't think some of you are seeing it until like 2 days after I post it, but at least you're seeing it. So that's been great. I've seen some subscriber count go up on the channel. So
I've got a pitch for your audience.
Yeah.
Maybe we do this on the previews and reviews channel or something to kind of separate things a little bit. Of course, still
video.
Paradise Video. I forget that I rebranded, but I've got an idea for a game show. Around movie buff. And I'd love to have contestants and stuff like that. And
we definitely.
But I want to make sure I'm not the only person who would want to see that kind of show.
Right.
And so if you guys are interested in Paradise Video doing a movie trivia game show, let us know in the comments on this video, and we'll see, because I've talked with Maeson about some, and we're trying to figure out kind of the best way to execute something like that.
Right. And I definitely would love to hear from you. Sometimes I don't know if the comments can be weird sometimes. If you have an idea, you really want to talk to me, I would love to hear from you. So don't be afraid to put anything in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Hayden would love to hear from you. We just want to engage with you guys. That's all we want to do. So as far as other projects, I have 2 new YouTube channels actually launched. There's not much content there, but I have a gaming channel now called MP Games and More. It's where I just talk about video games, my love of games. Hopefully I'll do live streams in the future. That's a goal, but there's only 1 video on that channel right now. It's done good, but it's only 1 video. And then I've got MP Theme Parks and More. It's where I talk about my love of theme parks. I like going to Disney World. My wife and I have another trip planned for next year. Silver Dollar City is a theme park that's pretty close by that we visit from.
You should check out the Dallas Universal Kids Park. That's been trending quite a bit for not great reasons, but
go check it out anyway. I can do some cool content. But so I've got those 2 new channels. So if you guys would like to support me over there, I'd also appreciate that. But thank you so much for supporting MP Movies and More and Paradise Video. What we're doing here, we really appreciate your support, and we just thank you guys for listening to us ramble. And we hope you care about what we're saying. So that's about it.
Let us know in the comments how you would start the DCU if you had been in James Gunn's shoes. We'd love to see your ideas.
Absolutely. Do you like the direction? Do you have some concerns, some gripes, or do you think they should just leave it alone? We'd love to hear your thoughts on all that. Yeah, with that out of the way, we'll put your contact info in the channel on the video. You can follow us here, of course, on MP Movies and More. I ask you to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live to either my channel or Hayden's channel.
Yeah.
And when you guys do that, it always helps us out so much, and we greatly appreciate that. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.